يا نفس إن لم تظفري لا تجزعي. يا نفس إن لم تظفري لا تجزعي، وإلى موائد جود مولاك هرعي. يا نفس إن لم تظفري لا تجزعي، وإلى موائد جود مولاك هرعي. وإذا تأخر مطلب فلربما في ذلك التأخير كل المطمع. فاستانسي بالمنع وارعي حقه، إن الرضا وصف المنيب الألمع. وإذا بدا من ناطق الوجدان ما يدعوك للياس الذميم الأشنع، فاستيقظي من نومة الغفلات وليكن الرجاء لك مرتعا فيه ارتعي. إن العطاء إمداده متنوع، إن العطاء إمداده متنوع. يا حسنه ذاك العطاء المتنوع. وردوا على نهر الحياة وكلهم شربوا، وكم في الركب من متضلع. حاشا الكريم يردهم عطشا وقاد وردوا. وأصل الجود من ذا المنبع، أصل الجود من ذا المنبع. يا رب لي ظن جميل وافر، قدمته وامشي به يسعى معي. يا رب يا لي ظن جميل وافر، قدمته أمشي به يسعى معي. كل الذي يرجون فضلك، كل الذي يرجون فضلك أمطروا. حاشاك أن يبقى هشيما مربعي. كل الذي يرجون فضلك أمطروا. حاشاك أن يبقى هشيما مربعي.
سبيل الدموع سبيل مريح، تنهدى يا
نفس إن لم تظفري لا تجزعي. يا نفس إن لم تظفري لا تجزعي، وإلى موائد جود مولاك هرعي. يا نفس إن لم تظفري لا تجزعي، وإلى موائد جود مولاك هرعي. وإذا تأخر مطلب فلربما في ذلك التأخير كل المطمع. فاستانسي بالمنع وارعي حقه، إن الرضا وصف المنيب الألمع. وإذا بدا من ناطق الوجدان ما يدعوك للياس الذميم الأشنع، فاستيقظي من نومة الغفلات وليكن الرجاء لك مرتعا فيه ارتعي. إن العطاء إمداده متنوع، إن العطاء إمداده متنوع. يا حسنه ذاك العطاء المتنوع. وردوا على نهر الحياة وكلهم شربوا، وكم في الركب من متضلع. حاشا الكريم يردهم عطشا وقاد وردوا. وأصل الجود من ذا المنبع، أصل الجود من ذا المنبع. يا رب لي ظن جميل وافر، قدمته وامشي به يسعى معي. يا رب يا لي ظن جميل وافر، قدمته أمشي به يسعى معي. كل الذي يرجون فضلك، كل الذي يرجون فضلك أمطروا. حاشاك أن يبقى هشيما مربعي. كل الذي يرجون فضلك أمطروا. حاشاك أن يبقى هشيما مربعي.
3, 2, 1. And we are live. Alright guys, welcome back to the channel. It has been a while. Yes, I always say that when I live stream, because it is actually true. It has been a while. Let me think. When did I stream the last time? It must have been somewhere in January at best. So maybe this is the second live stream this year. Potentially it is the first one. Yeah, many things happening privately that I cannot disclose just yet online. Inshallah, at some point we might talk about it. But for now, we are back streaming live, and that is what counts. Today, guys, we're gonna have a hangout after a long time, a meeting of sorts, if you will. And we're gonna use the time to talk about things that happened over the past few months in the online sphere. As I said, I cannot really go into depth privately just yet. And moreover, we might watch some YouTube as well. If you have any videos that you want me to react to, or articles, or posts, or whatnot, then let me know. And we have the first super chat as well already. Thank you very much, guys. Matter of fact, let me see if I can make this work. Let me check. Okay. I hope it does work. I want to set a goal. Matter of fact, let me just double check on YouTube. The goal for the first 30 minutes of the stream is 10 super chats. If we get 10 super chats in the first 30 minutes, then I will stream again on Wednesday. So yeah, we're gonna use this as a motivation. So I actually get up for my lazy butt and stream quite more often again. That is the first goal here. 10 super chats in the first 30 minutes. Let me just double check real quick if that goal is live or not. 1 second. You guys. Just 1 second. Anyways, how's everybody doing? Who is in the chat here? Happy to see you guys. Yeah, we have people coming in. We have super chats coming in. Very good, very good. Good to see you guys. Assalamu alaikum. Shawarma. I like German Döner kebab better than shawarma. I like the meat quality more. Or let's say the consistency of the meat, the texture. I usually prefer Döner kebab. But there is good shawarma as well. However, it will always be my second pick. Okay. 1 second, we almost have it worked out. Let me know if the sound is good and if the video quality is good as well. I think we're experiencing a little bit of a lag over here. But all in all, it will be up and running. Okay. Well, the goal is there. Fantastic. Okay. Sounds good. Alright, fantastic. Yeah, so let me jump into the super chats then already, guys. Thank you. Ayat Nadum, thank you very much. Assalamu alaikum, brother, he says. Wa alaikum assalam, bro. Thank you. Abbas Hijalbo donated as well. Thank you very much. Hey, Bobby, what is your favorite dish? And what is your opinion on Arabic food? Yeah, we already scratched on it briefly now when I started ranting about kebabs. So Arabic food. I love Arabic food, first and foremost, right? So every time I'm in the Emirates or even here in Thailand, I absolutely do enjoy Arabic food. We have quite a lot of different Arabic food over here. Lebanese, Yemeni, Moroccan. It's amazing. However, I have to say, I do prefer Turkish food over Arabic food. And now why is that so? I'm going to tell you. Because I believe that the Turks, the Ottomans at the time, really gathered the best foods of the world and combined them into something greater. So for example, when we take baklava, and we eat baklava from the Middle East, it's nice, definitely, quite tasty. However, the Turkish version is better. It's more succulent, it's softer, it's more moist. So I most definitely have to give it to the Turks yet again. So then there is a Balkan version of the baklava as well, right? Macedonia, Serbia, Bulgaria, etc. And that one is good. However, the Turkish one is exactly in the middle between the Balkan baklava and the Arabic baklava. So they're combining those things and they're creating something new. And it's the same when it comes down to their kebab, for example. So obviously the kebab is shawarma inspired. However, on the Balkan we call it cevap. And the kebab yet again finds itself exactly in the middle. And this for me is simply perfection, quite honestly. So Turkish food is hands down in my top 3, but it depends on the day. So can I eat Turkish food every single day? No, I can't, even though I love it, but I cannot eat it every single day. And therefore, the top 3 is shared with Japanese food as well. So Japanese food, why? Obviously, sashimi, sushi, teppanyaki, and whatnot. Who perfects the handicraft of cuisine, such as the Japanese? I think that the French are coming close, but they won't reach the perfection of the Japanese. And therefore, Japanese food most definitely into the top 3 as well. And now it becomes very, very hard, and I can't really label this as in ethnicity or nationality. I simply have to say that on number 3 amongst my favorite foods is simply steak, because I do eat steak on a daily basis. I love steak. Now, where does steak come from? Okay, you can say the French people are perfecting steaks with their entrecôtes and whatnot. You can say the Americans do with their ribeyes, etc., T-bones. I personally do enjoy a ribeye steak every single day, and therefore, this is my top 3 list of favorite foods. Turkish, Japanese, and simply steak. Yeah. Another super chat, thank you very much. By... One second. Abbas Hijab again, thank you very much, bro. Do you think P. Diddy is connected to Israel Mossad? And what is your opinion on baby oil? From Neji. That is hilarious. So, okay. First and foremost, when we talk about such things, yeah, it is exactly the same when they bust somebody for steroids, right? So, for example, Lance Armstrong. Okay, the Tour de France, bicycle. So he is the bad guy, he's the evil guy that took the steroids, took the EPO, and nobody else does, right? Or in the UFC. Okay, Brock Lesnar versus Alistair Overeem. Turns out Alistair Overeem tested positive for testosterone. Whatever. So surely Alistair Overeem is on steroids and Brock Lesnar is not. It's crystal clear. Obviously, it's not. I mean, Brock Lesnar is as natty as they come, right? So it is always bullshit. They always take, pardon my French, they always take a specific person that they want to then martyr in the mainstream for whatever hidden reason, right? So when it comes down to Epstein, first and foremost, I don't believe that he killed himself. I don't believe that somebody else did either. I personally believe that he is somewhere on a different island enjoying his life, right? And moreover, when we look into the Netflix documentaries about it, what is the real thing that happened over there? What is the big bad conspiracy? Apparently, allegedly, Epstein funneled underage girls to that island. This is a classical tactic of look over here and don't look over here, right? Because for the mainstream normies, a 16-year-old girl that went to a celebrity party is the most outrageous thing that they can think of, right? Even though the age of consent in Germany, for example, is 16 or even 14. But yeah, that is the most crazy thing that anybody heard of, even though people have been getting married for the past thousands and thousands of years at the age of 12 and 13. Ooh, wow. Girls have been funneled at the age of 16. That is the big conspiracy here. Sure. So don't look at things that I cannot even mention over here, right? We have all kinds of satanic sacrifices with different age groups committed by elites. That is what is truly going on. And of course, this is not something that they will show you. No, of course not. It's evil Jeffrey, and he funneled 60. So on to the Diddy case. Him, obviously, as well, right, as a scapegoat, as they always do. There are other players behind it. Now, do I think that he was involved with Mossad, etc.? It is a potential case, of course. However, I wouldn't know that. Put the information so I can claim, yes, this is exactly what happened. However, we do know that the music industry, especially the rap industry, has been infiltrated as well by Israeli intelligentsia, and that there is indeed a very evil agenda behind it on how certain black artists are being portrayed, right? As thugs, murderers, as drug dealers, and then later as homosexuals, right? So this is a push as well of foreign intelligentsia, and therefore is it likely that they had a stronghold on Diddy? Sure, why not? It's possible, of course, because otherwise we would have to believe that Diddy himself is some sort of mastermind, right? That lured the celebrities in, then corrupted them, and had certain information on them. For what, really? I don't think that Diddy is this mastermind after all. I believe that he is a degenerate, for sure, but I believe that he is being used. And now they might sacrifice him at the public altar, or they might let him go. Let's see how useful this is ultimately. And when it comes down to the baby oil scenario, yeah, that is indeed weird because, yeah, I don't want to go into too much depth here sexually, but first and foremost, the baby oil is a very bad lubricant. I wouldn't use that. But any type of oil, so if you have a wife at home and you've been using some oils, yeah, a baby oil bottle lasts for years, man. Probably like 5 years or something on those lines. You'll never use that stuff up. And somehow he had thousands and thousands of bottles. So that in itself is extremely comical to me. So I don't know what they've been using the baby oil for, to be totally honest. Anyways, that is that. Yeah, I know. I have to be careful. As I said, everything I stated here is still under the community guidelines of YouTube. 100% YouTube. I always obey the community guidelines, and therefore my phrasing, my wording, and even the controversial subject at discussion here is still within the frame of the community guidelines. Okay. Selma says hi from Bosnia. Pozdrav, salam. Turkish was very oily. Yeah, can be. Depends which one. But I love Turkish food. The mic is lagging. That's a shame. I thought just the camera is lagging. Is the mic lagging, guys? Let me know in the chat. Abbas really wants me to do another stream soon. Guys, as I said, 10 super chats in the first 30 minutes. So I'm going to do a stream on Wednesday again. Otherwise, I can't do it. Physically, financially, potentially. It is not feasible. So thank you very much for your support. And Abbas asks, why are you not a good guy? I am. I'm a Shabbos guy. Of course I am. What are you talking about, man? 1 second. Okay. I didn't see that. So my short editor just reached out to me. And we had a comment apparently from Selbstdenker Medien, which is German, obviously. And he asks, hey, Bobby, how can I get in touch with you for an interview? I am a YouTuber from Germany. I also reverted to Islam and left veganism due to your videos. Yeah, well, alhamdulillah, that is always nice to see when people actually get something out of my videos. And it motivates them as well to leave the cult of veganism and then further to pursue truth. That is amazing. So, yeah, dude, just contact me. Wait a second. Let me do it via phone. It's easier. Okay, here's my email in the chat. And then you can contact me for an interview. Okay, guys, if you want your question answered, super chats. That's how we're gonna do it. It is what it is. If you want your questions answered via super chat, no problemo. You can donate as little as $1, and I will answer any question of yours, and I mean any, as long as it falls under the guidelines of YouTube. Any question I will of course answer. However, I cannot just go through the chat and answer every single one of the chats. That is impossible. Check this out. Baby pineapple. Amazing. Let me take a bite. Somebody wants me banned. So again, another super chat from Abbas. Guys, we learn from Abbas and support the channel via super chat. Do you think it's possible, he asks, to get 6 million super chats in less than 5 years? Or do you think 2,701 is more reasonable? I think 271,000, right? Yeah. So what do I think? Is it reasonable to get 6 million super chats in 5 years? I mean, to be honest, to get 6 million super chats, think about how much I would have to stream. In order to get 6 million super chats in 5 years, I would have to stream basically 24 hours without any sleep every single day of the year. And even then, I don't find it feasible to receive 6 million super chats, no matter how I do it, right? So therefore, 271,000 is more likely. I would even say less than that, right? To be honest, I don't really see my subscribers sending so many super chats and me streaming so much that I would receive even that many super chats. Okay, thank you very much yet again. Ali donated 100 dirham. Thank you very much, brother. Appreciate it. That is so far the biggest donation. Anyways, applause for everybody that donates here. Ali says, Assalamu alaikum. How are you, brother Bobby? Once you visit UAE again, we need to meet. Inshallah, bro. I would love to. Matter of fact, the last time I was there, I met up with, I don't even want to call them subscribers because now I consider them very, very good brothers of mine. And therefore, I would love to. Most definitely. I posted my email in the chat box. Let me do it again. And simply contact me via there. 1 second. Here we go. Contact me via email and say, hey, it's Ali. I just super chatted. And then we can exchange numbers or whatnot. And then inshallah, when I'm in Dubai again, which will be inshallah soon, we can connect for sure. Abdul Razak says, your bald head is better than full hair. It's not that full, is it? It's a short trim that I'm rocking. I've been too lazy to shave lately. You know? So, well, I like it like this. Where's Bobby located at? Everywhere and nowhere, guys. Honestly, I'm traveling a lot lately, so I don't have a home base anymore at the moment. I really don't. And yeah, that is something that I will discuss, inshallah, with you guys, but not yet. Absolutely not yet. It is a very complicated situation at the moment, and I cannot disclose it for legal reasons as well, and for other reasons too. So yeah, there's a lot going on in the background of Bobby's perspective that I might share with you a bit later. Yeah, anyways, guys. So yeah, as I said already, for people that are just tuning in, we do 10 super chats in 30 minutes. So I make the promise that I will then stream again on Wednesday. I want to make more streams, don't get me wrong, but this is just what it is. It's really not feasible for me, and I'm going to tell you why. First and foremost, I'm traveling a lot. I'm extremely busy. I have a lot to do, guys. Right? So YouTube, even though I love it, and even though I want to connect with you as much as I can, there is a limit to it, right? And so when I'm creating videos, that takes a lot of time, sitting down, searching for the videos, reacting to them, editing them, etc., etc. However, when I'm doing a stream, now the editing is not part of it, which is cool. However, you have to sit here for 2 to 3 hours, right? A stretch of 2 to 3 hours. So in that time, obviously, I cannot work on anything else. I'm just focused on talking. And then, if there are no super chats, then it doesn't make any sense. You know, then to be quite frank, as much as I enjoy it here, I cannot finance those 2 to 3 hours by simply sitting and talking without any exchange of the viewers, you know? And if that is the case, no problem. Then I'm simply not going to stream, and I'm just going to do videos. That is fine with me as well. However, I do enjoy the streams, and if you do so as well, then super chats. Thank you very much. Okay. That being said, we have another super chat by Brzkr, BRZKRR, 10 Australian dollars. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Assalamu alaikum, Bobby. Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullah. What have you been researching and reading into these days? That's a very interesting question. Matter of fact, I've been researching predominantly human psychology, to be totally honest. The human psychology of power games as well. So I've been reading a few books on that topic. And yeah, the dynamic of essentially coping mechanisms of people, how people express themselves through their ego and lack self-reflection, etc. So certain aspects of that, and moreover, money psychology as well. Closing deals, stuff like that. So human psychology in general, this is what I've been really looking into deeply lately. Because to be honest, growing up, I was somewhat of a natural when it comes down to those things. I was always very, very social, and I could read people quite easily. But then in my later years, I became somewhat dormant, and yeah, I didn't brush up on that skill set, I have to say. When it comes down to all kinds of other conspiracy theories, I've looked into everything, right? Into everything. Be it the flat earth, be it the hollow earth, be it the things that you cannot mention over here, you know? So yeah, I looked into every single conspiracy there is, every religion there is. I talk about that in my book as well. Matter of fact, the book is pinned, right? Every religion I looked into, every theology, every ideology, spiritual movements and whatnot. So at this point in time, I'm very content, alhamdulillah, when it comes down to my religion, Islam. I'm very happy with it. And this made me more grounded than ever. And therefore now I can focus on certain useful skills. So therefore, yeah, human psychology in general is what I'm focusing on the most at the moment. Yeah. Abbas, stop it already, bro. Stop it, dude. Why are there ridges on my coins, he asks. I don't know, man. Probably just fell and kind of got scraped off. Concrete is kind of hard, you know what I mean? Must be a mistake, ultimately. Who knows? Ibrahim says, man, I wish you weren't busy and would stream all day and do videos every day. So guys, listen, for me as a content creator, there is nothing better than doing that. Believe me, I love streaming, I love talking to you guys, I love creating videos, it is amazing. But as you guys know, YouTube shadow banned me and then demonetized me and whatnot. So therefore, this channel here is 100% sponsored by you. That's just what it is, right? So therefore, if you guys support via super chats and you buy the book, for example, you click on the videos, you thumb up, all of those things, which are, let's be honest, man, very, very reasonably priced. So my book, I'm selling it for $8, right? I mean, I don't know, dude. When I ordered food just 30 minutes ago, that cost me $15, right? So that book is $8. It's not even a proper meal nowadays, depending on where you are. So therefore, I believe that anybody can afford that and support like that. Other than that, as I said, through the super chats, this is just how you support the people that you want to see. And if you do that, guess what? Then you see more of those people. That's really how it works. It's very, very simple. If you don't do that, then those people cannot create an online presence. And then at some point they say, goodbye, au revoir, c'est la vie. That's just how it is, you know? Because now a little bit of the over here. But time is money. Everybody has heard that phrase before. Time is money. Why is that so? When I was a kid, I wasn't getting it. I would watch a Hollywood movie, a banker or some broker would simply say, time is money. And I wouldn't know what it means. 1 second, the camera is lagging here. Let me see if I can close something down. 1 second. Now, I hope this is better. Anyways, so as a kid, I obviously didn't get what this term means, time is money. But yeah, time is money. It literally means time is money. Because if you go and you trade your time for work, right? You're trading your body. For example, you're a construction worker, and now you have to slave away for 10 hours per day, which I have done for years. Then you're trading your money, your time for money. That's what it is. You traded your time, you traded your body for money. That's how it works. So now when I'm sitting here, I am trading my time as well. And I would love to say, hey, this is all altruism. I'm the biggest pacifist on this planet, and I simply want to give away all the time. Of course, to an extent, I love it, because I get comments of people that revert to Islam. Alhamdulillah, this is amazing. Couldn't be any better. But at the same time, I'm always honest, man. This here needs to feed. It is what it is, right? And therefore, if 2-3 hours of live streaming don't feed, they don't make money, that means then that I'm losing money. And I'm at a stage in my life where I cannot do that anymore. So now people will say, oh, that sounds so greedy, and oh, he's so evil. Okay, guys, then you go out, you know, in the subway somewhere on the street and talk for 3 hours straight. Just talk, try to entertain people, and then don't ask anything in return for it. Do that, and then come back to me. It's absolutely ridiculous, of course. So therefore, yes, all content creators, of course, need to eat. All content creators need to get some sort of revenue for their work. This is just what it is. Okay, anyways, more super chats. Thank you very much, guys. Appreciate it. Abbas says, I have to go now, but I'm Naji from the group chat. Okay, Naji, thank you very much, brother. You almost got me banned here. I appreciate the support. He is the biggest supporter of today till now, so let's give him applause. And we have another super chat by Zdemic. Get it up by Zdemic. 5 euros. Thank you very much, bro. Appreciate it. Merci beaucoup. Teşekkürler. Zdemic. Croatian or Bosnian, they're asking here. Bulgarski. Bulgarian, even better. Okay. Assalamu alaikum, guys. Abu Qidama says everyone should be an entrepreneur. I don't think that everybody should be. Absolutely not. Some people are simply not cut out for it, as not everybody should be a construction worker or doctor or pilot. So different strokes for different folks. Most definitely not everybody can be an entrepreneur. Yeah. Or should be. Okay. Anyways, did you guys see the Wahhabi documentary of Daniel Khaligachu? I watched maybe 15 minutes or so. So it is information that I'm familiar with. However, it is a bit above my pay grade because it ultimately goes into politics. You know, so what I saw him speaking about is the famous claim, actually, this is not something that he just came up with, that Abdul Wahhab, he ultimately takfired everybody, mass takfired, and takfired the whole Ottoman Empire for that reason. And this is what led to a lot of wars and killing of Muslims because of the wrong Aqidah, so to speak. So this is what I've been told as well. However, yet again, it depends on which side you ask, you know, and so many people will say that that never happened. And therefore, when it comes down to history, it's always a bit complicated. But I want to ask you guys in the chat, what do you think about the documentary? Have you watched the whole thing? I believe it's 3 hours or so. I didn't have the time. But yeah, at this point, it boils down to the same discussion ultimately, right? It is this political split that happened back then between Arabia and the Ottomans, and both parties were holding different ideologies or versions of Islam, if you will. So the Ottoman conception of Islam would have been different than the Wahhabi version of Islam, if you will. And to this very day, it depends kind of on which theological side you're on, then you end up on that political side as well. And I personally don't want to get involved too much into those types of politics. Aman Faye says, I want to accept Islam. Please help me. What do you need help with? Saying the Shahada? So if you want to say the Shahada, come on. We can do the Shahada, no problem. Ibrahim says, we want to go back extremely strictly to the Prophet, the companions, and the Ahlul Bayt. Yeah, of course. Listen, man. Okay, I brought the topic up, right? But that will always be the claim. That is always the claim, right? That we're going straight back to the times of the Prophet. But the counterclaim there was as well that Wahhab came up with certain theories about how it was in the beginning, but it ultimately wasn't extreme and it wasn't like that, the way that he proposed. But to be honest, I'm gonna be quite frank, you know, when regular Muslims get killed by other supposedly better Muslims, I have a huge issue with that. Because when it comes down to the Palestine subject, I saw some people advocate online that the Palestinians have the wrong Aqidah. I really saw that, right? And that they therefore don't deserve the help, which is unbelievable. It's unbelievable. So you're telling me women and children and just laymen don't have the proper Aqidah. Yeah, well, then save them and teach them the right Aqidah afterwards. I'm sure they will be glad to accept it, right? So if you look at certain Christian missionaries, when they go and save certain people from war zones, and then after that they're converting to Christianity, obviously because they're thankful to their rescuers, right? So yeah, when I see such things where people say it's righteous to kill certain people because of their Aqidah, and those people are not scholars or anything on those lines, you know? So yeah, this is my stance on it. Stolen TPS, thank you very much for the $10. Appreciate it. Good to catch you live. Thank you for doing what you do, brother. Appreciate it, bro. Thank you very much. That is amazing to hear, that people appreciate my work. Thank you. Diddy Basket says, Bobby, I've been watching you for years. Thanks for letting me also be part of this journey. Hey, anybody is free to join, of course, or free to leave. That's what I always say. It's quite funny when people attacked me, especially back in the day when I was still a vegan. They attacked me because I was a vegan, right? And meanwhile, I was simply eating plants and I was documenting it. But then at some point, I realized that it's nonsense and I dropped veganism, alhamdulillah. And then all the vegans started attacking me, right? Then I became a carnivore. Then later on, I didn't want to be zero carb anymore. I carbohydrates. And then the carnivores started attacking. Like, but well, zero carb is still the way to go and whatnot. So my point of the story is that no matter what I did in my life, I would document it. And then people would either subscribe to it or simply start hating, you know. But anybody's invited, of course, to check out my work. And matter of fact, as I said already, this is well documented in my ebook as well. The link is up here and in the description box. You can check it out and see what kind of strange experiments I have done in my life to ultimately accept Islam. Alhamdulillah. That's actually a good question. Here I see one question that I want to answer. Guys, as I said, I will answer your questions via Super Chat, first and foremost, predominantly. Sometimes I pick up a question that I like from the chat. 1 second. Yeah, here we go. Oh, 1 second, guys. There we go. Okay, fantastic. Now, I just saw a good question that now disappeared, but I'm going to paraphrase it. The question was about who's putting those ideas into people's heads, right? So when it comes down to veganism, I mean, you simply have to look into who is funding the plant-based meat and the synthetic meat market, which are people such as Bill Gates, right? So this is an open secret if you look it up. So therefore, is there an agenda behind it? Most definitely, 100%. And the point of the story is that those movements, they seem to be grassroots movements, right? That's how they appear. Or somebody just wanted to save animals, and then a group gathered, and next thing you know, there is vegan schnitzel in Aldi. Doesn't work that way, never did. However, surely, when you look into vegetarianism, when you look into plant-based diets, yes, you can find historically that people practiced them. Buddhism, Hinduism, certain Greek philosophers as well. It has been a topic of debate within humanity, within human history, surely. However, it was never something that has been adopted on a societal level. The closest that it would have been gotten adopted was the Indians, and there you see a predominantly plant-based diet, still mixed with a lot of meat, of course. Due to the caste system, you saw like a plant-based diet for the peasantry. And there you see that diabetes rates and cancer rates are through, so it's most definitely not a healthy way of eating. Anyhow, point of the story is, yes, if you look into vegetarianism, veganism, you can find evidences for it throughout human history. And those things are then used and infused into political movements. Same thing goes for BLM, for example. Has there been oppression of black people? Sure. Has there been oppression of all people? Absolutely. Right, I'm from the Balkan, we've been oppressed. We look into any race of people, they've been oppressed by another race of people. So this is something that we've been doing, but then you start a social grassroots movement such as BLM, and then you look into it deeply, and then you will see who's funding it yet again, right? And why Soros is funding it, etc., you name it. So yeah, how do people get into it? Predominantly the internet nowadays, of course, and by recruitment. You will see that all those fruitless movements are pushed by recruitment because it doesn't work any other way. But for example, veganism is not something that any sane person would teach their children. Some do, but that is a 0.00001% fraction of humanity, right? So therefore, what do? The parents don't teach the children to eat the soy. Therefore, you have to push for it. You have to recruit. And the same is as well applicable for the LGTV movement. Why? Very, very simple. Because parents, mother and father, male and female, can produce. Male and male, on the other hand, female and female, cannot produce. And if they cannot produce, then they don't have offspring. And so therefore they cannot teach it to their children. And that means they have to teach it to other children. So therefore you have to recruit yet again. All right, this is how it works. So therefore all of those movements are created by recruitment, and there is a deeper agenda at hand, of course, that we cannot go into here on YouTube, because I respect the community guidelines. Nisar Sayed, thank you very much for the €1. Appreciate it. Super chat. Okay. Strange. I think we got the goal, matter of fact, but somehow this goal didn't show. So let's do another goal for another 30 minutes. And then I will stream twice next week. Okay. I will make this a goal. Twice next week. Okay, let's see if we can get 10 more super chats. And then I will stream twice next week. I promise. I'm a man of my word. And Bobby's perspective, Daniel calls everyone who disagrees with him a Wahhabi. I don't know. For me personally, I really like Daniel. I think that he has done a great work. And yeah, I don't really get too much into this whole dispute right now. I kind of stopped when the drama began with, what's his name again? Jake, the Muslim metaphysician, exactly. Yeah, with Jake. Jake started it the way that I saw it. And I very much dislike that. So for me, it's just so blatantly obvious that when you have infighting in a movement, always comes from the outside. Always comes from the outside. So therefore, if you want to fall for those division tricks, divide and conquer, be my guest, but I personally won't be part of it. Very simple. I cannot stand such infighting. Especially not when it becomes public then. Cringe. The True UN says, okay, bro, stream next week. 2 streams. So we already reached our goal of 1 stream on Wednesday. So if we get 10 super chats now in the next 30 minutes, I'm just wondering, why isn't this thing showing? Does there have to be a specific amount? Maybe it has to be a specific amount, I'm not too sure. Wait a second, let me double check. The thing is still in Thai. Okay. Should be fine. I think the super chat should be at least $4 or something like that. Okay. Anyways. The amount is $5. Okay. Alright, so the minimum super chat that counts is $5 or £5 or whatever. Fine. That is interesting. Rasan says, I went to the link to look at your book and the price, but it doesn't matter because it's stated, sorry, this item is not available in your location. So I heard that now from a few people in Africa predominantly. So what you can do is simple. You can simply put on a VPN, right? With VPN, you can just put it to Germany or physical book. It's a PDF, it's an ebook. And therefore you can simply put on a VPN and download it. That works for sure, 100%. But yeah, if that is somehow too hard, then contact me I'm gonna set my email again directly and try this out in private with you. Is the mic lagging again? Okay, let me check. Let me try something. Okay, now I hope it holds the connection now. There's not much I can do about it. Okay, we have another super chat. Guys, as I said, I am going through the chat and sure, I will answer one or two chats as well. However, I prefer the super chats. Transparently. We have Mustafa Bevrnya. That is Bosnian money, yeah? I don't even know who you call the Bosnian money, bro. I really don't. Bam. BM. Brate, halal ti bilo, ne mora biti za stream. Assalamu alaikum. Wa alaikum assalam i hvala puno. I sve najljepše. Pozdrav do Bosna. I assume this is Bosna. Thank you very much, bro. Hvala lijepa. I saw a question, but this is way, way back as well, where somebody asked me if I do know if more Christians revert to Islam or if more Muslims revert to Christianity. It's quite obvious because the numbers don't lie. We do know that Islam is the fastest growing religion, and not only due to birth rates, but due to reversion rates as well. So therefore, yeah, case closed. Christianity is not growing. It's just what it is. It's really not the case. Christianity won't be the biggest religion for much longer. It's already declining steadily. And it's quite amazing that even famous Islamophobes, on the one hand, they want to tell you, well, you just have the highest birth rates and that's why. I mean, even if that is the truth, so what? What you gonna do about it, man? If you have strong Muslim families that have more children than you and they're teaching their children Islam, so what? Obviously, then you will have more strong Muslims around. So who cares which cause, which means is being used here, right? The outcome will be the same. But anyways, that aside, those famous Islamophobes will say as well that churches are shutting down and they're being converted to mosques. That's just what it is. That is factual. Therefore, don't buy the hype, guys. Honestly, obviously, the Christians, they will have to make it look flashy on YouTube. They will have to make it look interesting. Islam is falling, and the Islamic dilemma, which I just made a video on. But the reality is, of course, that Islam is growing. That's it. That's the fact. So no matter how much you hate it, no matter how much you want to spread online that Islam somehow lost the debate. First and foremost, I have yet to truly see a Muslim losing the debate full stop, right? I generally haven't seen that yet. I've seen, of course, many Christian fanboys screaming that Islam is losing and Christianity is winning and blah, blah, blah. Sure, but there was the same thing back in the day when I was still a vegan. Then the vegans screamed at the vegan one and the carnivores screamed at the carnivore one. It's always the same. So therefore, the online sphere, you might have a stronger fanboy camp when it comes down to Christian fanboys, might be. But honestly, when I look at debates, I haven't seen one debate where the Christian actually won. Because how could they? It's impossible. How will you win with a Trinity? It's not a firm ground that you're standing on. Anyways, that being said, even those Islam haters, call them what you will agree that in real life, American cities, for example, are becoming more Islamic. They will say as well that Europe is being taken over by Islam. They will say that churches are shutting down and mosques are being built. They will compare the attendance and say that the churches are empty and the mosques are full. All of this is happening. This is the truth. But what you gonna do about it, right? This is what is really going on in the real world. Just leave your house. So therefore, I don't care for a debate, even if a Christian would have won. Congrats. It doesn't matter, because Islam is still the fastest growing religion, and I would make the claim that Christianity is the fastest declining religion there is. Hinduism and Buddhism are pretty constant, right? But with Islam and Christianity, you see two opposing extremes. Churches shutting down, people leaving, mass apostasy within the Christian faith, and Islam, the people are flocking to it. That's what's going on. Anyways, we have a huge support here. Let me calculate this real quick, man. First and foremost, thank you very much, Abdullah Al-Khanzab. Thank you, brother. Who's Qatar? Yeah, that is massive, bro. Thank you so much, man. See, those are the viewers that actually want to see Bobby's perspective prosper here. We have 1,800 Qatar. I don't know exactly what the... Let me just double check this here. But anyways, that is Riyal. Okay, Qatari Riyal. And that is roughly 500 US dollars. As always, the people that make such big donations never attach a question or anything on those lines. They simply want to support. They want nothing in return. So thank you very much, brother. I appreciate it from the heart. May Allah bless you and return this 1,000-fold to you. Thank you, bro. Amazing. Much love to Qatar. I haven't been. As I said, I've been only to the Emirates in the Middle East till now. So definitely want to check out Qatar. It would be nice to see. I want to check out Saudi as well, obviously. Kuwait. Yeah. And let's see what else. Should make a little Middle East tour, inshallah, inshallah. MashaAllah. Thank you very much, brother. Okay, fantastic. Thank you very much. So now I'm most definitely gonna stream. Even though, see, that's how it is. Because the amount of the super chat is above $5, this is why it doesn't count it. Okay, so we need 8 more super chats that are above $5. And then I'm gonna stream again twice. Stop spamming my chat. Otherwise, I'm gonna block you. I'm gonna put you in timeout now for 5 minutes. I'm generous today. 5 minutes, no posting. Okay. Yeah, I don't like when you spam my chat. You know, no hard feelings over here, but what do you expect, honestly? No, okay. Wait a second, I have an idea. If I shut this down here, yeah, that should be better. I hope. And this here as well, we got a pro gamer config. Turbo. Okay. Turbo is initiated. And we have another super chat by Abdullah. This time it is 370 Riyal. Thank you very much, brother. I appreciate it, man. Fat super chat. Thank you so much, bro. He says, continue your research. I benefited from your research as a Muslim, and you're welcome to Qatar. Hey, inshallah, man. Honestly, would love to visit. And from now on especially, but I did this previously as well, when I travel, I'm going to make an announcement that I'm there, because my last visit was very, very short in the Emirates, just a few days. But I'm going to make an announcement, and I want to meet up with more brothers for sure. and would be absolutely amazing to see cut out for sure. Thank you very much again, brother. And this is something that is so amazing to me, I have to say, because what Abdullah here said is that he actually benefited from my research as somebody that was born into Islam. Of course, we're all born into Islam, but then parents teach us something else, and then we revert to our natural state. But you know what I mean, right? Somebody that grew up in a Muslim household, and he still says that he benefits from it. And this is something that I've heard from many born Muslims yet again. And this is amazing to me. Why? Because I was born into an Orthodox Christian family as somebody that was told that Islam is the enemy. I was born to parents that were telling me the Ottoman Turks were enslaving us for 500 years, and they were taking our women and whatnot, right? And then I grew up in the conflict with the Albanians that were Muslims too. So I come from a perspective where Islam was always hated by my surroundings and by myself as well, without actually knowing what Islam is, of course. And it's quite simple to fall into such patterns because it is an us versus them mentality. If you have war with certain people and those people are from a different religion, then you will say it's the religion, must be. And therefore my life, I went through it without ever looking into Islam. As I said already, I mentioned this in my ebook as well, how Christianity first, then New Ageism, psychedelics, agnosticism, mysticism, occultism, and whatnot. And then in my 30s, I finally started looking into Islam. So my whole life, I wasn't even able to look into it. And then as somebody that comes from a background that hated Islam, to then enter into a platform like YouTube, and to have people that have been born into Muslim families reach out and tell him then, hey, listen, your journey inspired us and helped us with our Islam in some sort of fashion. It's unbelievable to me. So I say Alhamdulillah, and I'm so grateful to Allah that He has guided me and that He had such a plan for me in the end. Because this is something that I could have never thought of. Never. Anything else in my life. I could have imagined many different scenarios, believe me that. But not in one single scenario was I a Muslim, right? So this just shows you the mercy of Allah, that He truly guides who He wills, and then, yeah, enables them such a life. Grateful, grateful. Thank you so much, guys. Appreciate it. The True UN says 50 MAD. Does it count if I send you 50 MAD 8 times? That is cheating, bro. We want to bring in a solid audience that is supportive. That is the whole point. It's not only about, hey, guys, send me such and such amount of money and then I will do this. It's about having an engaged community, right? This is what it's about. Because only like this, you can create a YouTube channel that is being maintained. That's just how it works. You know, if you don't have engaged viewers, so no, the True UN, thank you very much. I don't want you to send 8 super chats. I want different people to participate here, right? I want to answer their questions as well. But anyways, thank you very much for the super chat, and I am Muslim. Thank you very much for your super chat as well. Appreciate it. Anyways, okay, we had 4 super chats, 4 out of 10. Did I ever go to Turkey? Yes, I went to Turkey, and matter of fact, this was still before I went to Mount Athos, Greece. So this is still before I deeply went into Orthodox Christianity. I was already in it, but not at my peak yet, but I was a full-blown Christian. And this is when I went to Istanbul for the very first time. And obviously all I could see was Hagia Sophia that became a mosque. And I couldn't believe it, and that just confirmed everything. They took our churches and they made mosques out of it. Unbelievable, evil Turks. So when I was in Istanbul, I couldn't really comprehend it, you know? But yeah, nowadays, alhamdulillah, I'm very happy to go back to Turkey as well. But I haven't been in a long time, man. So I think that was, I don't know, man, 7 years ago or something on those lines. Something like that. Hey Jam, Bobby oder H&M, alter Kölsche Jung. Wie geht es dir? Ja, soweit so gut, mein Bester, ja. Soweit so gut. Ich war sogar kurz in Deutschland, in Köln, unterwegs. Vor einem Monat circa. Aber nur ganz kurz. That was German, for anybody watching here. The True UN donated again, thank you very much, brother. Yeah, well, I'm also born Muslim, and I also benefited from your perspective, be it about diet or about Islam, and may Allah reward you for it all, bro. Hey, alhamdulillah, thank you very much, brother. Always amazing to hear. As I said already, for me, it's quite shocking, you know? It's quite shocking that born Muslims actually get any type of inspiration from somebody that used to hate Islam. Ilias B. Listen, guys, I'm going to read this out in German and answer it in German as well, so bear with me. The reason is, it's actually a topic dear to my heart. Assalamu alaikum, Bobby. Meine Frau ist keine Muslimin. Wir haben ein Kind. Sie droht oft, mich rauszuwerfen oder die Polizei zu rufen. Ich will mein Kind nicht verlassen. Was soll ich tun? Hör mal zu, Bruder. Ich werde jetzt nicht ins Detail da reingehen, weil es ist auch eine Sache, mit der ich viel zu tun hatte. Und dementsprechend, ich kann dir nur sagen, wenn deine Frau so etwas macht, geh. Fertig. Das war's. Geh, brech den Kontakt komplett ab. Fertig. Nimm den Anwalt, wenn sein muss. Ende. Keine Diskussion, kein Bitten, kein Wenn und Aber. Geh. Fertig. Behalt dein Gesicht als Mann und lass gut sein. Ehrlich. Du verlierst nur noch mehr, wenn du dort bleibst. Eine Frau, die Bullen rufen will, eine Frau, die so einen Stress macht, respektiert dich nicht. Und dementsprechend versucht das gar nicht erst zu reparieren. Ja, sie wird keinen Respekt vor dir haben. Den einzigen Respekt, den du dir beibehalten kannst, ist der, wenn du gehst. Das war's. Mit den Kindern, glaub mir, Bruder, ich bin in einer ähnlichen Situation. Ich habe 2 Kinder und dementsprechend, ich weiß ganz genau, wovon du redest. Aber das Einzige, was ich dir gerade hier sagen kann, ist, geh. Geh. Kommunizier nicht mit ihr. Ich schwöre es dir. Assalamu alaikum. That was German. Okay. We have many Germans here. Guys, Bruder, I have already a second channel that I used for German content, but I haven't logged into it since forever. I would have to actually double check if it's still online. Should I make some German content? Or should I make, let's put it this way, should I stream in German? Would we have some viewers that would like to see a German stream? Very quite interesting to see. If so, then I will do it. I only understood gay. Gay in German means go, not gay. Anyways, I see people spamming the chat. Guys, honestly, it's so simple. I already told you. If I see a question that I find interesting, I will respond to it. If I see somebody spamming the chat, even 2 or 3 or 4 times, I'm not going to respond to that question at all. 0. So therefore, send it via super chat and I will respond. Simple as that. You can send a quick super chat, I'm going to respond to it, but don't spam the chat. What makes German sound not so angry? Man, that's the thing, you know, German doesn't sound angry necessarily. It's only if you speak like our famous Austrian painter, you know. So you can make German sound very, very aggressive. For example, there's this meme, how do you say butterfly in different languages, right? And then you see papillon, right? The French person, papillon, oh, super cute. Whatever, right? And then you have all those sayings for butterfly in different languages, and then the German comes, and what does the German say? Ein Schmetterling. Okay, if I pronounce it that way poorly, it will sound aggressive, right? So now the word itself is not the prettiest in sounding in other languages, but if you say ein Schmetterling, ist ein Schmetterling. Does it sound brutal now? Does it sound like the Second World War? No, I don't think so. All right. So German, is it a hard language? It can be, But then on the other hand, why is it hard? Because the you have that in French as well, right? They use too. So, yeah. It's overrated. It's very memeable, I understand. But all in all, it's most definitely not the most aggressive language there is. Okay. Another super chat by Ali. Thank you very much for the 100 dirham. Appreciate it, brother. I agree with you, and it's not just about learning from a new Muslim convert. It's that we complete each other like a puzzle game by sharing our knowledge of Islam. Even we already understand the main things. That's what I think. I don't know exactly what it is, man. For me, what I heard from brothers is that it gave them an iman boost. It gave them an iman boost by listening to my journey, because they simply saw that somebody that was standing outside of Islam, somebody that was hating Islam, then actually comes to Islam and fully embraces it. That made them appreciate that they were born into it. So they kind of saw what they've got already, right? And I always say that when it comes down to Islamic knowledge, please don't come to me. Go to a scholar, go to a sheikh. I'm simply a guy doing my own research, right? So don't learn from me. Deutsche Videos wären gut. Ja. Lost Soul gave me just another name. He says, today I name you El Bab. Means a door to truth. Normal worry. That is extremely cool, man. El Bab. I didn't know that. That's cool because that actually sounds like Bobby. Hey, that's amazing. I'm gonna actually look that up and save it. Because matter of fact, I still don't have an official Islamic name, if you will. El Bab. El Bab or El Bab? I see there's a city here. El Bab means the door. But if it was the door to truth, wouldn't it be El Bab El Haq? El Bab El Haq? I think that's how you pronounce it, right? Correct me if I'm wrong. But I would assume, because in Bab itself, there is no truth, there's only door. Okay, anyways, guys, just give me a second. I have to get something here, and I'll be right back in a minute, maximum. Hello!
يا نفس إن لم تظفري لا تجزعي يا نفس إن لم تظفري لا تجزعي وإلى مواعيد جود مولاك هرعي يا نفس إن لم تظفري لا تجزعي وإلى مواعيد جود مولاك هرعي وإذا تأخر مطلب فلربما في ذلك التأخير كل المطمع فاستانسي بالمنع وارعي حقه إن الرضا وصف المنيب الألمع وإذا بدا من ناطق الوجدان ما يدعوك لليا.
Yo, Navdi has appeared. I joined the Beanie Gang, the Ahmadi religion of peace, guys. Anyways, let's get a bit fresh here with the AC. What was the random Allahu Akbar? That was this. Allahu Akbar! Oh, okay. Yeah, I pressed the button. There are many buttons here, many sounds, many funny sounds. Nice. Oh, this one of my favorites.
You're mushrik, you're kafir, you're jahannam. You're kafir. You're a kafir.
Are you sick in the mind? Are you that mentally enslaved and intellectually subservient and intellectually molested and ideologically molested?
Bob! Man's moving wet!
You're finished. You're finished. You're finished. You're finished.
Check. Okay. Now it runs again. Fantastic. Yeah, my soundboard is quite entertaining, I would say. Anyhow, let's return to the chat. Let's see. Here we go. Okay. Second. Okay. People are upset about Steve. Steve is actually one of my biggest supporters. It's really the case. He's been here forever, and he's still complaining about Islam, which is quite amazing. And I'm sure at some point he will accept Islam, inshallah. Okay. Anyways, I see people reaching out to me even via email right now because of Abdul Wahab. So as I said, that's what I heard, and I don't have a negative stance on him, nor a positive stance. That's just what it is. So I personally haven't gotten so involved in it, nor do I have a dog in that fight. I mean, personally, it is about Islam and the earliest sources, and therefore I don't even necessarily care too much about later scholars. And I most definitely do not care about political disputes. It's just not interesting to me. Because I know what kind of power plays are at hand when it comes down to politics, and therefore I don't like to mix it with religion, and it doesn't benefit me in either way. So I just stay away from it. Steve is struggling with sincerity, but inshallah one day. Intellectually molested. Abdullah asks if I go live every Sunday. So matter of fact, I haven't been live this whole year, bro. So as I said, I believe that I streamed January. Maybe. Potentially. I really don't know. Matter of fact, let me just check it out. Let me see. I think that I streamed in January. Let's see. The last live stream. 3 months ago. Yeah. No. February. It might not be completely accurate. Let's say a date. February is impossible. Maybe early February. Whatever. So this, however, is then the second live stream this year. So it's pretty much half gone this year. Almost 6 months into it. And yeah, I have streamed twice. So there's been going on a lot of positive as also negatives in the background of Bobby's perspective. And therefore I haven't streamed much. However, now I make it as an incentive, which we'll see if it will be reached or not, to see if people are engaged on super chats in 30 minutes, which I believe we didn't accomplish yet. No, we had 6 out of 10. So if we get the super chats in, then I will make it my mission to stream more often, right? Starting with 2 streams this coming week. Yeah, health was definitely something that played into this, but alhamdulillah, the health is actually quite good at the moment. So it wasn't only health. It was a tremendous jiu-jitsu injury as well, where I tore 4 ligaments off my foot. That was nice, very nice, but it's not the only thing that was going on, or is going on rather. Yeah. Anyways, I cannot speak about it. At some point, I might make an announcement video in which then I will invite people through a gate into a Telegram group or something on those lines. We'll see about it, where I will then present my case, because I cannot potentially do that, live or for the general public to see. It's impossible. So we'll see about it. It's crazy. It's insane, honestly. What has been going on, it's insane. But yeah, I cannot talk about it here just yet. We'll see. Enough about that. I don't like being cryptic, but I can't speak about it. Okay. Abdul Rahman says he would like to see me doing vlogs, such as in Mecca, Medina, etc. Yeah, inshallah, man. Why not? I'm not much of a vlogger, but I could go down with such vlogs. Why not? Inshallah. Okay. Assalamu alaikum, guys. Hijab is hilarious, man. Okay. Yeah. Yep. The chat kind of gets it. Yep. Do you think you'll return to Macedonia? Just for a quick visit, but I don't plan on living there. It's quite interesting, you know, when I grew up, I was growing up in Germany. I always ached for Macedonia, and I couldn't wait to go to Macedonia. I had the best time of my life every time we would go to Macedonia. And I was dreaming of a life when I grew up finally to actually live in Macedonia. But the older I got, the more I saw how Macedonia changed, how people changed, and I simply didn't feel at home anymore in Macedonia at some point. It just switched. I can't tell you the exact year it was, but it's just switched. Because I remember, honestly, man, I was an emotional little kid. Every time we would leave, for example, from my aunt's house, I would open up the window. I would sit in the back. Obviously, my father would be driving his car, an old Mercedes. And I would climb out of the window and wave my family members goodbye, until we see each other again. And I would cry. I would be so sad leaving Macedonia. It was the worst time to leave. And therefore my dream was always to return to Macedonia and live there. But as I said, the older I got, at some point that magic was gone. And then I would always be treated as the German. And they wouldn't see me as somebody of them necessarily. And in my 20s, as I said, I went through so many different ideologies that ultimately I became different. I became distant as well. And I wasn't the same person anymore. As a child, it was very binary. You know, there was Macedonia, there was Germany. I was a Macedonian in Germany, and that's it. But then later on, when I started exploring the world, I very much distanced myself from Macedonia. And then later on, politically, I distanced myself as well, because I don't simply agree with the name Macedonia. I don't agree with their political ideology, their history either. So I was taking a more pro-Bulgarian stance, which then alienated me even more from my fellow Macedonians. And then ultimately, the last nail in the coffin was, of course, Islam. Don't get me wrong, like, Islam is huge in Macedonia. It's huge. So every time I was in Macedonia, because I haven't eaten pork in over 20 years, right? So I don't eat pork. Even before I was a Muslim, I haven't eaten pork for many, many years. And I would always go to the halal butcher, you know, and eat my halal food in Macedonia, but I simply wouldn't go to the mosque. Everywhere you can find mosques in Macedonia. In my city, matter of fact, there are more mosques than churches, potentially. It's huge. But, yeah, I became something else, you know, and therefore I don't feel that's belonging anymore to that country. Yeah. So therefore, will I go there, visit family members? Sure. But will I live there or something on those lines? No. That's a good question. Are Macedonians genetically close to Greeks? So the thing is this, it's very simple, and this is something that actually opened up my eyes to the reality of the propaganda that is being spewed in Macedonia. Macedonia is a tiny country, and it's ultimately a borderland, right? It's surrounded by Serbia, Bulgaria, Albania, and Greece. So it's kind of pinched in together, and it's this little piece of land with roughly 2 million inhabitants, which is a city, basically. And it has 1.5 million Slavs, roughly. So those Slavs, ethnically, genetically speaking, are basically Bulgarians. That's what it is. When the Ottomans were mapping that land, they mapped them as Bulgarians as well. So therefore, ethnically, we are Bulgarians. Put. However, if you look into what Bulgarian truly is, then you will see many differences as well, of course, right? So therefore the question is, what is a Balkan person really? And my genetic makeup is very, very simple. It is predominantly Balkan, indigenous, whatever that means. And then I have an admixture of Greek, I believe 25% or so Greek at least. And then I have, I believe, 20% or so South Italian. So South Italian could be anything as well, because South Italy has been basically inhabited by many, many different races too, by Greeks, by Arabs, by North Africans. All right, so therefore, what is that genetic to begin with? South Italian, who knows? You could say that South Italian and Greek is kind of identical as well, so potentially I'm just 50% Greek then, I guess, ethnically, who knows? And 50% Balkan, for what it's worth. So Balkan, does that now mean indigenous Balkan people, such as the Illyrians or Thracians or whatnot? Who knows? But yeah, that's my genetic. My genetic is very, very limited to one place of the earth. So a lot of inbreeding going on, I assume. Thank you very much for the super chat by Ozzy of Sweden. We have 100 SEK, thank you. Assalamu alaikum, brother. Do you see the history of Slavs and Turks/Muslims in a different light now, after becoming a Muslim yourself? Much love from a Turkish brother. Yeah, obviously, bro. Of course. First and foremost, wa alaikum assalam, and yes, surely I do. So first and foremost, we have to simply address that the Ottomans, aside from bringing us coffee and many other treats, such as baklava and börek, the Ottomans, they brought actually peace to the Balkans and to Europe. Many people don't understand that. They're speaking about the colonization of the Ottomans and how they took over and blah, blah, blah. The reality is, religious freedom was prevalent, such as that you can go nowadays and you will find all the churches still intact from way, way before the Ottomans and after they left. Moreover, after the Ottomans left, what happened is World War I and World War II. So the Ottomans were holding Europe together quite peacefully for 500 years. All right, so now you can say, but well, they were reigning over us, we were slaves. That's not really what was happening, to be honest. Because the peasantry wasn't really affected by the Ottomans as such. So nor did they have to learn Turkish, nor Arabic, nor did they have to convert to Islam. So the Muslims, the Ottomans, they were reigning, they had governmental positions, and even in those governmental positions, you had predominantly ethnic people or indigenous people, if you will, that were running those spots. That's just how it is. And so now people will say, yeah, but well, if you weren't a Muslim, you had to pay the jizya. Yes, sure, that was the taxation principle, absolutely. And now when you're in Germany as a German, you have to pay 40% taxes to your government. Great, right? I, as a former Christian, would have rather paid than paying German taxes. That is for sure. But anyhow, yeah, the whole story is obviously in a totally different light. And matter of fact, I'm not going to whitewash the whole thing and saying everything that the Turks did was perfect. It was just amazing, and all of it was in the name of God. No, of course, when you have politics, when you have power, many things will go south. That's just what it is. But in general, I will say that, yeah, I believe that it would have been actually quite beautiful if more Slavs, such as the Bosnians, would have adopted Islam, I have to say. And I would believe that there would have been more peace and stability on the Balkan if more people would have adhered to Islam. However, from what I've learned is that after the Ottomans left, there was a severe persecution of Muslims on the Balkan, and therefore many Bosnians or Bulgarians or whatever that were Muslims at that point left to Turkey, and then over the years assimilated into Turkey and became Turks. Because there is no such thing as a pure ethnic Turk either. If you look into Turks, there are mixtures of Greeks and Bulgarians as well, right? Not all, but there are. And the same applies to anybody on the Balkan. So there is no such thing as a pure blood in that sense. And we're all mixed to varying degrees, for sure. Okay. Anyways, thank you very much for the super chats, guys. We had 1 hour 40. I'll stream 20 more minutes. We're gonna make the 2 hours full. We didn't reach our second goal here, so no 2 streams this coming week. Just 1. But yeah, we're gonna do 20 more minutes and then I'm off. Yes, the Western Turks are Balkan people in origin. We say around 25 million Turks. Yeah, absolutely, man. It's just common sense. There has been a lot of admixture, a lot of back and forth in those countries, a lot of border changes as well. So there is no such thing as an ethnically pure person, whatever that means. Okay. Did you grow up with any Kurds and Turks in Germany? Yeah, obviously. Of course. One of my best friends is actually Kurd. Kurdish from Turkey. Yeah. Yeah, Abdullah, let me know, bro. I saw your chat now. You can let me know. Again, I'm getting many questions here. Guys, as I said, simply send the super chat. It's very easy. You can send a small chat of $5 and then I will respond to your question. Not that hard, guys. Come on, man. You don't work for free either, do you? Okay. No, we had many Turks living in Macedonia as well. We had Turkish schools too. Ethnic Turks. To this very day, I believe the biggest population of ethnic Turks you will find in Ohrid. Yeah. Were you close to Skopje? Reasonably close. What is it, like an hour drive, roughly? Something like that. And we have another super chat. Thank you very much, guys. Appreciate it. by Broken Snake, 20 Australian dollars. Aussie, Aussie, Aussie. Oi, oi, oi. Thank you very much, bro. Thanks, mate. Well, you should do a collab with Daniel Hachigachu. Yeah, gladly. Why not? For sure. Would be interesting. Even though his knowledge is definitely way above my pay grade. So, yeah, we could talk about liberalism, I guess. That'd be quite interesting. We'll see. Yeah, inshallah, some point. I really like Daniel. So I'm definitely up for it. Do Mr. Donis also eat chivapchichi? Yeah, of course, man. Favorite food. Thank you very much, man. And Rob's like, greetings to Australia. I miss that country sometimes. I really do. Okay. The beard suits you, bro. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. I've been rocking this beard for 10 years now. More even. 2013, I guess. 12 years, something like that. Yeah. But I'll trim it a bit. From now and then I trimmed it now a little bit. Ah. Beard gains. Abdullah, you can ask me, bro. I'm here. Shoot. You didn't ask. You already sent a humongous super chat, so shoot your question. It's fine. I'll answer it. Okay. Being a person that looked into a lot of beliefs, have you ever been into liberalism? I was into liberalism, but not as something consciously. So it's not as if I looked into liberal politics and this is what I want to follow. Most definitely not. The point is that what happened is that I was a liberal without knowing it. So yeah, I simply subscribed to do whatever you want to do. In my 20s, that was, right? So do whatever you want to do. I don't want to adhere to any boring conservatism or religious ideology, just explore everything. All drugs should be legal, etc., etc. So when I was in my 20s, this is what I ascribed to, and therefore I was a liberal, right? I was, I guess, pro-abortion as well. I had no issues with it back then, and I was agnostic. Yeah, and I simply wanted to do whatever. I thought marriage is outdated as well. Religion is outdated, man-made. So therefore I was a liberal, but I didn't look into liberalism. Once I really looked into politics, at that point I was already conservative. Right, and to this very day, I'm not huge into politics because I don't really ascribe to a certain nation state. But yeah, if we're talking about this global debate, 1 second. The global debate of American politics and what is better, conservatives or liberals, yeah, they both suck. But obviously I would say that the conservatives are more rational. That's what it is, you know? For me, if you don't have Islam in your ideology, I don't care for it. That's just what it is. Sharia or nothing, bro. You know? Anyways, a broken snake, bro. What is going on, man? What is going on? Huge. Huge donation. It's huge. Thank you very much. Just for Broken Snake and Abdullah, I should actually reach him twice this week. Not for the rest of you guys. You didn't want to support. Just kidding, but thank you. Let's read it out here. Broken Snake, 480 Aussie dollars. Thanks for everything you do. I also miss your old React videos to Western liberalism in general. I think some of that format should help gain more traffic. You're absolutely right. Listen, you're absolutely right. First and foremost, again, thank you so much for your humongous, generous donation here, bro. With that being said, I was thinking about this, and I thought, okay, how do I diversify my content here? Obviously, the best thing would be to react to liberals, right? To this liberal brainwashing of the masses, this absolute utter degeneracy. But then I would make a video about, let's say, some OnlyFans content creator, or about Adam and his wife, him being the greatest cuck on this planet, at least publicly. And then people would kind of complain about it, and it wouldn't gain so much traffic, and then I would lose sight, to be totally honest. So, matter of fact, guys, okay, I have a job offer. You get, I receive. If there is somebody that is truly within the zeitgeist and understands what kind of liberal, degenerate, red pill, whatever modern pop culture things are trending right now, I need you for a assistant position, let's say. So no, I'm not looking for somebody that will tell me, okay, here, react to this religious content, or no, I can do that by myself. It's not about it. It's really about somebody that can give me the trending topics of liberal nonsense at the moment. If you can do that, I would like to work with you, and then we can figure something out. Right, so if there's somebody listening to this, contact me, and I'm gonna send you the email in the chat right now. Contact me, and then inshallah we can work together and bring this channel to the next level, because that's where I see myself as well, to be totally honest. And it's extremely entertaining and fun for me personally. I love doing it, but I'm just not, really on it at the moment, to be totally honest. I don't spend time on X. That is one big issue, and I don't follow trends. This is why I don't see it. So if we have anybody that does that, let's collab and let's pump out content. That would be amazing. But that being said, one second, I need a sip of water. I was a bit sick, guys. That being said, it's quite amazing how many liberally cucked Muslims we have as well. Because when I reacted to, what's her name again, that porn actress, Lil Black something, Lil Black Ray, yeah, I think that's what it was. Dude, again, I am not in the position to takfir anybody, right? And that's not what this was about to begin with. Welcome to Islam, Lil Black. Welcome. Alhamdulillah. Congrats. Fantastic. But I pointed out that such a woman is A, damaged goods, and B, her sins are public forever online, all right? So I spoke about this, and then people get triggered, and how can you speak about this? I generally don't care, but at the same time, I have to say that there are so many liberally cucked Muslims. It was shocking to see. When it came down to Andrew Tate, everybody was crying, oh, if Andrew is a Muslim, then I'm leaving Islam. And now you have an actual porn actress that still has videos out of her getting ganged by a bunch of black dudes. And this will stay on forever, and now she's running around with a hijab. Cool, and I'm somehow now where I have to say welcome, and I absolutely love it. And please promote this woman as well. No, not at all. I even saw a sheikh, man. I saw a sheikh welcoming her, right, to Islam. Okay, fair enough. But then publicly stating an interview with her, and then saying, we have a very special guest today, guys. Assalamu alaikum, we have a very special guest. It's not a very special guest. Not at all. Right, that's not a special guest. That is a woman that has a very dark past, and if she's genuine, she could wear a niqab and never associate with her previous name anymore, right, and get off the internet altogether. But that's not what she does. In her narcissistic attitude, she continues to portray herself, but now with hijab and yada, yada, yada. So, yeah, I like to point such things out, but I can see that we have a huge issue with liberalized Muslims. They're so blue-pilled, they don't even see that. Right? Amazing. But anyways, okay, long rant. Broken Snake, thank you very much. Might, thank you very much, brother. I truly appreciate it. This is way and beyond anything I expect here. Thank you for this generous, fat donation. May Allah return it to you 1,000-fold, 1,000,000-fold. Thank you very much for it. And as I stated, guys, if you have anybody that wants to be an assistant exclusively for liberal content that is trending right now, Western stuff, brainwashed stuff, cucked stuff, cool stuff, slick stuff, then let me know. Grison Gillian, €6, thank you very much. Hey Bobby, I wanted to ask, how was your stay in Peru? I come from Lima. Ah, mashallah. Been watching your videos since a little before you reverted to Islam. Mashallah, that's amazing. I love Peru, but when I was in Peru, I went to Iquitos, and then further beyond into the jungles, and I drank the ayahuasca with the shamans. Again, guys, I talk about it in my book. And yeah, but I loved it. I spent a few days in Lima, and I was absolutely shocked. I was very green back then. I didn't understand. You know, I went to Iquitos, I went to Machu Picchu as well, and I loved it over there. But when you look at Iquitos, for example, it's barely a village, you know? And Lima was so advanced. I was really surprised that Lima is so far ahead. I was expecting a city, but not such a city. I've never been to Brazil, but Lima reminded me, even though I've never been there, reminded me of Brazil somehow. It was such an amazing vibe, good people, amazing beaches. Fantastic. So yeah, Peru is one of my favorite countries on this planet, actually. I loved it. And the people are so nice, man. But especially in Cusco. When I was in Cusco, those people were just, man, you want to hug them, you know? They were such nice, kind people. I absolutely loved it over there. So Peru, I have viewers from Peru as well, and more amazing people that actually watch me for Islamic content. This is amazing. When I was into shamanism, I don't think I had viewers from Peru. So this is surprising to me. Thank you very much, brother. Appreciate it. Another super chat, thank you very much, by Muslim's Humor. I have a fear of not getting a virgin wife later. If I find out that she was not a virgin, I may never forgive her and maybe divorce her later. Yeah, absolutely. See, there's the thing, right? I'm not going to name anybody now, but there are certain sheikhs that speak out and say that if you've committed a sin as a woman, you committed zina, now you should keep that to yourself, and you truly repented to Allah, and now this is between you and Allah, and you should never tell that to anyone. Okay, I understand fully that if you repent, it is between you and Allah. I get it, yes, and therefore you shouldn't expose your sin because Allah has concealed it. I get the principle, absolutely, and I subscribe to the principle. However, when it comes down to entering a marriage through a contract, and now we're going to decide if you're going to be the wife of my children, now we have to be transparent. And so now, for the sake of Allah, for the sake of not lying, for the sake of not having to now display all of your sins either, still, there can be a simple description, such as, okay, you can make it very diplomatic. You can write a list, for example, right? You can write a list and say, I only will marry you if you, something benign, cook, clean, give me 4 children, let's say, are a virgin, and don't take over, let's say, $1,000 per month of me, right, as your monthly allowances, whatever, and something other as well, blah, blah, blah. So then she can simply agree or disagree with that. If she disagrees with that, now she might have disagreed because she doesn't want to give you 4 children. Wink, wink. You know what I'm saying? But like that, you can weed her out if she's honest. Right, so for me, it's absolutely crystal clear. If you want to marry a virgin, and moreover, if you yourself are a virgin, and then you most definitely expect the same thing of your wife, then you shall get that. So if I go and I buy a car, now we're not talking about only exposing your sins. It's about being honest and upfront what kind of product you're selling here. So if the guy tells me this car has never been used, then I'm getting a new car, apparently. But then it turns out it had already 6, 7 owners. Yeah, well, that is not a new car, right? So that breaches the contract, man. You see what I'm saying? So therefore, most definitely, this is something that you will have to clarify in one shape or form before getting married. And yeah, may Allah make it easy for you and give you an honest wife. And then you can make the decision. Because women that have fornicated, listen, I'm not an unwritten letter myself, right? I'm not a guy with a white vest. I'm wearing black, right? I come from a very colorful past myself. It is what it is. But the reality is that I know what happens to the psyche of women that fornicate. I know that in the West and even beyond nowadays, this seen as something absolutely normal. That's just something that you do. We see it like a little kiss, like a little peck on the cheek. That's just what you do when you're young. And then they're losing the ability to bind properly, to pair bond. It's physiologically proven as fact, right? So therefore, you have huge issues with women that have fornicated, even if it was just a phase and just a short, brief interval in my life. I was crazy back then. I was still young and dumb, Yeah. No. Most definitely don't accept a non-virgin. If you are, let's say, you're an older guy now, let's say you're in your 40s or whatever, and you're getting a second or third wife, and you get a divorcee or something like that, yeah, sure. Such things can be done. But if you yourself are a young guy, and you yourself are a virgin on top of that, boy, you deserve nothing but a virgin, hands down. And you deserve the truth as well. Okay? Yeah. Who do I sound like? Wait a second, let me check here. Let's see it. Yeah, many guys are not virgins today. I am, says AFG Crypto. Yeah, that is quite a feat in this day and age, I have to say, man. Dory's perspective, Ali Dawa has a guy from WhatsApp who just sends him videos to react to. Bro, that's what I need. Again, guys, if you are somebody that is really spot on with the current times, you know what is going on. So, as I said, such topics such as Adam cucks out again and his wife has whatever, right, intercourse with another man yet again. Such topics are filthy, but they are fantastic dawah because it shows what is wrong with the West. They're amazing, right? Any such topics, but not only exclusively sexual topics, can be anything that is going on in the West, anything liberal. If there's somebody like it, let me know. We'll connect and inshallah we'll make a lot of content. Widows aren't virgins. No, widows are not. But yet again, as I said, if you're taking a second wife or something, right, or you yourself, you're coming from a divorce, let's say, okay, this is your second marriage, and then the woman is widowed, but she was a virgin before that marriage. Nah, okay. You can think about it. Carl Mauro says, you have to clarify this, man. He says, bro, anyone noticing Bobby sounds like an AI? Like an AI right now. Do I really? I sound like an AI. I wish there was my job. That would be amazing. Then I would stream every day, bro. Yeah, I'm not an AI. I'm just trying to speak eloquently with my third language, English. With that, I'm getting some shit sometimes. Ah, Bobby, you sound like Arnold Schwarzenegger. Ha ha, stupid accent. Bro, it's my third language, man. Right, Macedonian, quote unquote, and German first, and then English. Okay, it's out. I am a robot. I'm a learning computer, a machine. I'll be back. Do you miss Germany? I just visited Germany a month ago. So, no, I don't miss it. Not at all, actually. But I had a good time with my friends over there. Okay, Namur, I'm connected to everything. Twitch, YouTube, Twitter, X. I will send videos to you. Don't have to pay me. I just want to react to you, please. You watch it. Fantastic. Let's go. Here's my email. Send it to me. I add you on WhatsApp. And then just send me stuff, bro. Let's go. Let's do it. Let's make the channel explode. Bobby, when are you coming to Detroit? I'll get you right. Actually, I have distant family in Detroit. They are Macedonians living in Detroit for sure. I think a cousin or something like that, an uncle, who knows. But I haven't planned on going to Detroit at all. Zero. Maybe at some point, inshallah. Okay, listen guys. With all due respect, right? Many Shias have been reaching out to me now and they're asking me if I'm really sincere, or if I'm this, if I'm that, and then they always send me... Wait a second, I have to look up the name again. Sayed Amar Nakshawani. Like that, right? And yes, I've seen videos of his, and he's somehow representative of the Shiites online. He's the guy that is... I don't know if he owns it, but he's running the Shia Voice. And bro, it's so cringe, man. Bro, it's so extremely cringe. Not only do I not resonate with it, it's just silly. It's the guy with the George Floyd incidents, right? When he speaks about that George Floyd can't breathe, but neither could Hussein. I think that's what he talks about. Let me see if I can find it. A knee on the neck, a knee on the chest. It's always crying. And this is something that I didn't mention in my last video, man, and I should have. I totally forgot about it when I was comparing Islam to Christianity and vice versa. One major aspect that I didn't speak about, because I was so busy on simply reacting to the videos that I was watching within that video. It's amazing that Christianity and Shiism both are based on suffering. That's what it's about. Totally. Right? They both have their main martyr, Hussein, or Hussein and Ali, and Jesus, obviously, within the Christian theology and within the Shia theology. And the religion is based on suffering. And you feeling sadness and this emotion that they suffered for you. It's the exact same principle. And I understand why they do it, because it's a powerful emotion. Suffering is one of the most powerful emotions. It's actually one of the biggest motivators for people. When they truly suffer, this is when they try to change something. And I talked about this in my book as well, was a fat kid. I even posted a picture of that in my book. It's hilarious. Fat little Bobby. And the only reason why I actually started dieting is because I suffered so much. I got bullied and people started making fun of it. Thank God, alhamdulillah, because that actually motivated me to change something in my life. Yeah, so suffering is humongous, and therefore psychologically, this is what truly guilt trips you. How can you not see the love of God when He came and His only begotten Son for you? How can you not see it? Right? And yeah. And the same thing in Shia Islam as well. So anyways, this guy... where is he again? One second. I always forget his name. It's kind of complicated. I can't find it now. Whatever. That guy, he's crying. Yeah, he's crying about it and making this huge emotional appeal. Here he is. Fantastic. The Shia George Floyd. Again, with all due respect, guys, but I cannot, for any money in the world, I cannot take this serious, man. It's impossible. And I know that you cannot talk with such people, because when people get emotional, it's over. There's no rational argument anymore. It is what it is. When the emotion comes in, then there is no rationality. Logic has left the chat. And that is the biggest issue. So I'm not swayed emotionally. As people already pointed out, I am an AI. I am a robot. I speak robotic. So this is what it is. And therefore, I don't resonate with emotions. I don't care for your emotions, guys. Okay, let me see. Like this. Fantastico. Here we go. A knee on the chest. A knee on the neck. Have a look.
This one line, when George Floyd was killed, the knee was on his neck. He called out, I can't breathe, I can't breathe. Human beings around the world broke down. Why? Because when we imagine it, we think that this person had a knee on his neck. And for minutes, for minutes, after minutes, after minutes, after minutes, 8 minutes, he's calling out, I can't breathe, I can't breathe. How about when for over an hour you call out, I am thirsty, I am thirsty, is there anyone to quench my thirst? George Floyd had one knee on his neck and it hurt him. He was not able to recover. I ask all of you, my dear brothers and sisters, a knee on the neck, a knee on the chest, a knee on the feet.
Wow, this is hilarious. Okay. So, there was that. Yeah, this is the guy that she has always sent me, and somehow I should take him serious. A knee on the chest. Why is he pretending to cry? Every idiot can see that he's not really crying. But this is what Shias do professionally, basically. Not all, of course, guys, please. Okay, understand, it's a generalization. But many of those Shia speakers, they start crying and then they speak. I don't know how they speak. Is it like an Iranian accent kind of transferred onto British English? I don't know, but it's very cringe. It's extremely cringe and not convincing at all. Quite the opposite, right? So therefore, yeah, don't ask me about the brother anymore because it makes things worse. Believe it or not. I know it's hard to believe, but it isn't convincing to me. Spotify goes, hey, good to see you, brother. $2. Thank you very much. Hey, Bobby, how much do you follow the UFC? Not so much as I used to. Has something to do with religion as well. Like, don't get me wrong, we all enjoy a good fight, but I don't know, man. I kind of lost interest. You know, seeing people punch each other in the head and beat each other bloody. I don't know, I just don't have the interest anymore. It seems like the ultimate slave activity, to be totally honest. Don't get me wrong, they are celebrated, they are rich in some instances, they make good money, they are phenomenally strong fighters, obviously, and therefore, organically, but I respect them. I get all of that, you know, and yeah, I look up to their skill and I say, hey, that's amazing. But at the same time, I just don't appreciate the circus as much as I used to. You know, it's a pit, ultimately, in which you have half-naked women, alcohol is being served and sold and commercialized, there are ads for betting, and then you have two guys beating each other senseless. Right, so yeah, a knee on the chest, I just don't enjoy it that much anymore. Yeah, thank you very much for the super chat. Appreciate it. I'm finished, bro. That's it. You're getting soft. Yeah, probably, bro, probably. Don't get me wrong, if there's a good fight, I still watch it. But I'm just not as interested in it anymore as I used to. Because I used to watch it every Sunday, religiously, basically. And nowadays I just don't anymore. Okay. They do the same in Pakistan, yeah? Okay. I'm thirsty, I'm thirsty. Who will quench my thirst? Jem sagt, ich bin so dankbar, dass Allah mir deine Videos gezeigt hat. Mashallah. Danke dir, Bruder. You look like Alexander Rakic. Well, I mean, we are very, very, very close. He's Serbian, right? So that's the point I'm making. There are 1.5 Macedonians. Doesn't make sense. So those 1.5 million people are obviously ethnically tied to everybody surrounding them. And if the borders weren't created as such, then they wouldn't identify as Macedonians. So therefore, it is fair to say, of course, that the border region of Macedonia could be Bulgarian, could be Serbian ethnically, and anything in between. Golden Snake says, I only watch UFC highlights when Islam Makhachev fights. Yeah, Islam is amazing, obviously. Is fun to watch too. Even Dricus Duplessis is interesting because his style is so basic, you would think, but it's very effective. Israel Adesanya I liked a lot for a while, but then he became overly dramatic as well, and yeah, kind of weird, kind of cringe. But anyways, fighting-wise, when he was at his peak, it was amazing to watch, like a better Anderson Silva for a while. Who else? I mean, since Khabib left, the UFC hasn't been the same anymore, obviously. Yeah. Who else? I don't know. See, that's how much I follow the UFC nowadays. Abdul Rahman, why don't you do live reactions on stream? I can, as I said already, if people send super chats with videos, then I react to them. That's the whole deal. But when they don't, then I don't. Oh, pity. Thoughts about Andrew Tate. To be honest, it's like this. If I learned anything about being an online persona myself, is that you cannot judge a book by its cover. You cannot judge a person simply by what you see online. Impossible. And this is not me being super cryptic now. Oh, only Allah knows our heart. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about that you really cannot know the person if you haven't met them, haven't sat down with them. There's so much that gets lost. You might have an idea, a vague assumption of the person, but you won't really get them. And therefore, I cannot truly say who Andrew Tate is until I haven't met him. But that's that. So now when it comes down to Islam, even there, man. Religion, as much as we want it to be publicly displayed, when somebody accepts Islam, we want them to be standing for Islam, fighting for Islam, defending Islam, promoting Islam. We want that, right? It's just human nature. It's normal. When somebody with a big reach accepted the religion, you want to see them spread it. You want to see this humongous change in them. But there I have to say that oftentimes people really fall into this deception of living their life through others. So therefore, this is not what we should do. We should be concerned with our akhirah. We should be concerned with our afterlife and with our relationship to Allah. And then whatever anybody else is doing is not really of personal interest to us. That's first and foremost. Now, obviously, as somebody with such a reach, as I said already, we would have liked to see Andrew Tate be a bit more vocal about Islam. But I do understand as well that religion is deeply personal, and people have different stages in their life, how they go through Islam. So now I know some brothers that reverted to Islam many, many years ago, and they weren't practicing for 3 or 4 years at all. They drifted away from it completely. And then years later, they kind of remembered that they took Shahada And then they returned to Islam and became enormously practicing, right? So with people that are online, you see a moment of sincerity, and you see Andrew Tate accepting Islam, and then you see him kind of falling off a bit, seemingly, right? Again, judging at the apparent. And then you see him kind of siding with certain right-wing characters and whatnot. The point of the story is you don't know if he's not going to return to Islam stronger than ever. That's a potential. Moreover, you don't know why he's siding with those right-wing characters. Maybe it has something to do with his prison sentence. Maybe he had to please certain people publicly in order to get a certain outcome or to avoid a certain outcome. Who knows? That could be as well. So there are many, many things that have to be taken into consideration. For example, many people like to talk about the Arab leaders, be it Saudi, be it the Emirates and whatnot, right? And so now, don't get me wrong, I'm not here to defend them, I'm not here to promote them, but I'm not here to badmouth them either, right? Because the reality is, first and foremost, I haven't had any coffee with them, so I don't know them personally. I can only act on hearsay. And moreover, one thing I do know for a fact is that if you're in such a political position, you will receive pressure from all sides in the world. That is what it is. And if that is the case, then you will have to make certain decisions that might displease the general public of people. That's what it is as well. And if you take that into consideration, then you develop a sort of empathy for certain people, because you will have to understand that I'm not in their shoes, I'm not exposed to those eyes, and I'm not exposed to what is going on behind the scenes, and therefore I do not know why they have to do certain things. Once you have that humility, you see people differently, right? And so therefore, long-winded explanation here about Andrew Tate, I cannot truly judge him or assess him if I haven't met him. So now I will go into the positives, however. I think that what he started is still a net positive in terms of reminding men of their masculinity and warning men of female nature, especially in this modern day and age, because female nature has always been the same since the story of Adam and Eve. But the hijacking of female nature and the hypersexualization of female nature is something that we're seeing right now. And he's been warning people, he's been warning men about that, right? And for that, I respect him. Moreover, why I respect him as well is because Andrew Tate does what he says. So he set out to become one of the richest people, and he became one of the richest people. So everything that he wanted to accomplish, everybody has to accomplish riches. But he wanted to accomplish riches, he wanted to accomplish fame, and he did that. And so therefore, people that do what they say and say as they do, I have respect from man to man. I think he did absolutely phenomenal in that regard. And so then finally, to sum it up, on a personal level, would I like to see Andrew Tate dive even deeper into Islam and promote it more? Sure, that'd be awesome. Yeah. Paul sends a super chat, thank you very much. My loyal moderator, and he says, I'm kicking out the trolls for 24 hours. Bro, your decision, man. Do your job, boss. If you say it's too much, kick him out. Okay, I didn't check the chat. So if you have that many trolls, kick him out, sure. Assalamu alaikum, brother. Did you see the news in Saudi Arabia? They're allowing alcohol for tourists like in UAE. It's going in a scary direction. So, listen, that's another point, right? When you look at the UAE is a very, very interesting country, matter of fact. Because when you see what they're trying to do in Europe with this forced immigration push, you have forced diversity, right? And this doesn't work. However, in the UAE, you really have diversity, but it's a wanted diversity. And the UAE, what many people don't understand if they've never been there, and I didn't know about it at all, and I'm not a guy that researches things prior about countries. I always go there and I check it out myself. That's just how I tick. And guys, we only have 6 out of 10 super chats still. What is going on? Come on, send super chats. I've been here already 20 minutes longer than I initially wanted to stay. 20 more minutes and then I'm off. 20 more minutes, let's finish this goal, come on. And then we do 2 streams per week, inshallah. Okay, as I was saying, when I went to the UAE, I didn't research anything prior to it. And then I was so shocked to see so many foreigners, because I was expecting to see predominantly Arabs, believe it or not. I had no idea what Dubai is. I really didn't look into it. And so it was predominantly foreigners. I had some Emirati people, and I talked to them, and they told me that over 80%, I believe 82% or so, are actually immigrants in the UAE. So that means that the indigenous people are the minority. And that is mind-blowing, right? Because if you have something like that in Europe, that would be a failed society, right? But in the UAE, this is through really high-class migrants that do the work. It's quite amazing. You have all kinds of diversity with all kinds of backgrounds. So I loved it over there. It was amazing, and everybody speaks English. It's phenomenal. But you have to understand that 80% are migrants. And so from those 80%, how many are Muslim? That's the question. Even if we would grant and say 50% are Muslim, which is, that's impossible. That's impossible, right? Let's say 30% is Muslim, something like that. Maybe due to Pakistanis, etc. Maybe even that is too high. So as you can see, then you have still a humongous majority of non-Muslims, right? And therefore, yeah, non-Muslims eat pork and non-Muslims drink alcohol. And when I was there, yes, you have shops where you can enter and it says non-halal section. And so those people can go about their life. So for example, under the Turkish Caliphate, under the Ottomans, everybody within that land of the Balkans was still allowed to drink the alcohol, while the Christians weren't forced to abstain from alcohol. As a matter of fact, I talked to, was he English or Australian? I don't remember, doesn't matter, I think he was Australian. And he told me that he was working in Saudi Arabia for the past 8 years. And he said that they have shops where you can buy alcohol. And it has been always like that for non-Muslims. And he loved it over there. He had a good time. I met the guy actually in Thailand. So my point of the story is that this is nothing new necessarily. And during the times of the Ottoman Empire as well, this wasn't something that, was a alcohol-free zone. It just wasn't. Right? So therefore, if you have 80% immigrants in your country, you cannot then ask of them to let go of their customs completely. That's how I see it. And therefore, the alcohol subject for me is not a big deal. You know, if there are kuffar that want to drink alcohol, so be it. Let them drink it. If they want to eat the pork, let them eat the pork. I don't see an issue with that, as long as the Muslims are not being forced to serve it, and they're not being forced to sell it, and they're not being forced to drink it, and they can practice their religion. I really don't see an issue with it. And it has been going on for longer than now. Muslims humor, can you please read my super chats? Oh no, I pinned your comment, 1 second. But I read your super chat already. Let me see. Let me see. 1 second, guys. I can't see it here. The virgin wife. Already read that out, brother. Have you been off the screen for a while and now you want another answer? I answered that already. In depth. In real depth. I answered your chat. Your super chat. So you can scroll back then and you can find it. I answered it and I talked about it on end. Are you going to react to the new Many Prophets One Message video? Yeah, inshallah. If it's good, why not? He says he made 2. Bro, listen, I cannot find the second one then. Or the first one, which whenever it was. Then please just post it now in the chat and I will read it out. So you don't have to do another super chat. Just write it and I will respond to it. Okay, I'll wait. Yeah, we talked about the Wahhabi documentary as well. Anyways, as I said, Muslims Humor, just repost it now. And then I will respond to it. You don't have to do a super chat, just post it in the chat. Okay. So my question was, I'm heavily addicted to, 4 to 5 times a day. I need a phone. Was a song. Okay, anyways. So, basically this boils down to, I mean, I can say this, right? YouTube guidelines. Flipping and watching inappropriate content. So first and foremost, 4 to 5 times per day, that is insane. But what that tells you ultimately is that you have a lot of excess energy. That is something that you have to take into consideration first. You understand that every time you feel the urge to explode, that is your life force being wasted. However, if you maintain that, you can use that urge to do something with it. And that's really what it boils down to. It's very, very simple. So, you need to redirect that energy. Start with something very simple. Go to the gym. Better yet, do some martial arts. If you have the time to simply pleasure yourself all the time and be docile, then you have the time as well to join a martial arts class. And now you will see that when you fap so much, you will perform worse within that martial arts class. Do sparring, box, get hit in the face. And then you will see that every time you fap, you get worse at it. 100% I guarantee it. And that should give you enough motivation to not do it then and to redirect your energy. This, however, should only be the first step. Every time you see that urge in you, you feel that urge in you, you can take that energy and direct it towards anything that you might want to create. Because life ultimately is separated in doers and watchers, yeah? You have people that are just docile and they're watching and they're consuming. And then you have people that are creating, that are doing. And so every time you watch people having sex for you, basically, you missed out on creating children now, right? Because that is the main function here. It's not about you pursuing chicks in a club. It's about you creating a family and creating more kids. So now you're watching 2 people in that act, but they're not even creating kids. They're probably on some sort of contraceptive. And they just do that for pleasure. Pleasure. Because this is what this life is about nowadays. It's just pleasure. Genuinely. Sit on your couch, watch Netflix, order crappy food, and then after that, watch some people having pleasure, and you have pleasure yourself as well. Fantastic. Amazing life. And like that, you will go through your life until you die. Amazing. Not wasted at all, right? So this is what you have to really understand. you're just shooting away your offspring into paper tissue. Repulsive. Repulsive, man. Right? So, again, to become more productive, you take this energy. Every time you feel the urge, your brain now, because you're doing it so often, is already wired to that act. That's it. You get the impulse, you get a bit horny, and then you think, you go on the website and, okay. So when you feel that urge, don't go onto that website, but literally leave your house and go to a gym. Lifting weights, martial arts preferably. Then, the next time you feel that urge, go for a run. First, it has to be physical, and you have to rewire your brain until your brain realizes that it's not addicted to pixel women, it's simply addicted to that dopamine. So you will have to generate the dopamine differently. Excuse-moi, I've been sick for the past week. So your brain has to be rewired to create dopamine again, but through some healthy outlet, right? Then you can go further. Now you can start businesses. Now you can start writing books. Now you can do anything that you want to do in your life, other than wanking it. It's very, very simple, right? So because I saw that it just doesn't work for people when you tell them, well, Allah sees everything, or film yourself whilst doing it, so you see how ridiculous it looks like. It doesn't work. It doesn't work for people. You need to redirect that energy, because it's energy. And so therefore, the only positive thing that I can see here is, you have a lot of energy. 4 or 5 times per day, man, you have abundant energy. You must have very healthy dopamine and testosterone levels that your body is producing in itself. You just need to redirect that. Right? That's the first step. And so then the next thing is obviously delete certain apps that you might have, such as Instagram, because they might trigger it. Because on Instagram, you just scroll through the feed and then you see big booty Latinas, and then next thing you end up on the toilet again. So delete that. And obviously, don't visit those pages. However, I'm going to tell you religiously what really works. You have to make a bond with Allah. A pact. No, that doesn't mean that you're not going to fail, but it means that you're going to suffer the consequences. So only do that if you're ready. You can make a pact with Allah. You can say, for example, I'm not going to do it for the next 7 days. Really mean it. Really make that pact. I've broken 2 pacts or so in my life, not with masturbation, but with something else, that I wanted to refrain from, and I made the pact with God, and I suffered the consequences. I got punished severely, miserably. So this is if you really want to test yourself and push yourself to the limit, then you make a pact with God, and you tell him, 7 days, I'm definitely not looking at it, I'm not doing anything. And then you'll see. But biologically speaking, you have to rewire your brain. And this is why your brain has to become addicted to some new dopamine outlet. And that will happen only with physical activity at first, and then later on with business ventures, etc., etc. This is the main thing. And you know what works as well, and that works the best, and that works for me? I actually like looking into the mirror, knowing that I'm not a wanker, and moreover knowing that my word counts. Yeah, that's amazing. You know, in my life, I've seen predominantly women, but nowadays, unfortunately, many, many men as well. They have zero accountability. They lack it. It's not there. Because they're not accountable in front of themselves. They cannot simply wake up, say something to themselves in the mirror, and then execute it and do it. They can't. Right? So if you want any respect, start with self-respect first and address yourself as such and know that you are not a wanker. You don't have to be. You don't have to be a fapper. Yeah? You can be a man that respects himself that much. And then you can start harnessing that energy. Yeah. There's nothing more pathetic than being addicted to pixels that are being promoted by a certain group of people and feel emasculated in the long run. Because you know that corn is a military device to weaken men. Really, look into certain military operations that used corn to weaken societies. It destroys the fabric of humans, the moral conduct. It really does. And I've seen it in real life. I've seen it with myself, and I've seen it with people around me. So don't be pathetic and let go of it, man. It's disgusting. Here, see, we have it here. Don't make pacts, guys. Speaking from experience. Exactly. I make pacts, and I uphold them nowadays. But I've made pacts, and I've broken them twice, and it utterly destroyed me. Rightfully so. Okay, 1 second. I'm getting another request here that somehow I missed the super chat. Let me just open up the super chats in the YouTube studio here. I think I will be able to see them. Because now people will start saying that they've sent super chats. And then they will simply send their question again. So let me see. Okay. No, here it is. Okay, fantastic. Thank you very much. Pirate King Buggy. And he sent 10 Canadian dollars. Thank you very much. Brother, on your free time, I'd like you to react to this video or save it later during your free time. Thank you. I'm a revert. Muslims almost made me quit Islam. Made by a Muslim white guy. That's very interesting, man, because just today I saw that video. I didn't watch it yet, but I recognized the guy because I've seen him before on Instagram. And then I reached out to him today. Matter of fact. So I don't know if he has answered yet, but I reached out to him today. So inshallah, we will have him on for a live stream. I thought that his story is really cool. So yeah, thank you very much for it. And inshallah, not only a reaction video, but a live stream together. That would be awesome. Abbas is back, and he says, I can't stop myself while watching your videos. Okay, thank you very much, bro. Stop yourself doing what? I hope not fapping, man. Okay. Okay, I think I went through them so far. Thank you very much for the super chats, guys. This cough is terrible, man. Okay, 1 second. By the way, I don't know who it was. See, the name I already forgot. But the guy that wanted to help me out via WhatsApp and send videos, I sent my email, but you didn't send an email. Yeah. So I hope that he will still reach out. Anyways, as I said, guys, if there is somebody that wants to help with new liberal content, reacting to liberal content, be it on X, be it articles, Instagram, YouTube, doesn't matter at all. So there's somebody that is in that field, in that niche, or simply watches a lot of it and wants to send me videos like that where I can react to, reach out to me. And as I said, I already posted my email. My email here again, because there was one guy who said he wants to, but didn't send an email. Okay, anyways, it is what it is. Namur. Yeah, that was him. Namur, exactly. Strong Fire says, this cough is a new stage of COVID. I think all my family got it. My mom is suffering now from it. Even my dad, they cough a lot, but it will cure, inshallah. Good recovery, my friend. 100%. Guaranteed. I know there's a new wave going on. And I've been coughing for a week, but now finally it's kind of clearing up. It's actually getting better. Alhamdulillah. Another lockdown? I hope so. I hope there will be another lockdown, man. Honestly, because this time I have great ideas how to really capitalize on that lockdown. So, inshallah, there will be, man. Abdul Rahman, very much. He says, Bobby Paul and the founder of Shiism were both Jews. Yeah, as far as I know, that is true. Absolutely. Zemi says, G'day, mate. I want to talk to you about something. Okay. Broken Snake says, I remember watching your reactions on LGBT videos. LGTV. Excuse me. YouTube. LGTV. And it was hilarious back in 21, I think. Might be difficult to react to new videos like that through, though, because LGTV is on the way out these days. Yeah, not really. I mean, it's still there, and it's not only that. You know what I mean? As I stated already, anything that is liberalized, and believe me, pretty much everything is, would be worth reacting to. So it could be between a man and a wife, a husband and a wife, in the Western world. That could be good reaction material, for sure. It could be, as we already said, the LGTV push on certain schools and whatnot, or even beyond that, same-sex marriage, blah, blah, blah. It could be, yeah, very young women getting into the OF and ruining their future with it, etc., you name it. So it could be anything like that, any political commentary, if you will, makes sense, and would reach many more people, for sure, and like that expose them to Islam, inshallah. Yeah. I'm going to sell masks. Yeah, that's no right business, but there are many, many more during that time. The email is here. Here's the email. In the chat. Okay. Anyways, guys, 5 more minutes. And I'm tuning out. Has been a long time. I'm waiting for the people to reach out for the content. Wait, do you have tattoos? Yeah, obviously I have tattoos. As I said many, many times before, this is from my 20s. So before I reverted to Islam, long before that, I got tattoos. But I'm lasering them off as well. So here you can see my whole hand was tattooed. But now it almost came off. And here, this is still black. Yeah, sins from the past. Okay. John D. Never heard of him. We need an Islam tube because every time I try to comment about Palestine, I get censored by YouTube. Yeah, that's the thing with such niche tubes. They just don't work. That's an issue. So, yeah, unfortunately, even Rumble, etc., is still way too small in comparison to YouTube, let alone Islam Tube or something on those lines. It was Lord Bear back then that invested all his money into DAWAHGRAM, but even that didn't take off. people simply are not that keen on actually going through with it. Okay. Anyways, guys. Okay, hey, I'm gonna cut it off here. It has been long enough. I think we've been at it for, what is it now? Does it show? 2.5 hours, 2 hours, 40 minutes, something on those lines. So most definitely time to cut it down. I want to thank everybody for the super chats, but the most generous super chatters today were Broken Snake and Abdullah. Thank you so much for your amazing support. I truly, truly appreciate it. 2 hours and 46 minutes even. We're gonna stream one more time this week, inshallah, on Wednesday. That was the first goal. Then I want to see even more attendance, but thank you everybody that tuned in. In the meanwhile, more content is coming up, inshallah. And check out my ebook, which was pinned. Now it's not anymore. So let me see if I can pin it again later on. But yeah, that being said, thank you very much for your ongoing support, guys. Expect more from Bobby's perspective in the next coming days, weeks, and months, and inshallah, years. I appreciate it very, very much. And yes, this is me talking like a robot again because I'm trying to open up the chat in the background. Anyways, this is it for today. Like the stream as well, guys. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Check out the links in the description box one more time. And exactly, may God bless you all. Much love and peace.
يا نفس إن لم تغفري لا تجزعي يا نفس إن لم تظفري لا تجزعي وإلى مواعيد جود مولاك هرعي يا نفس إن لم تظفري لا تجزعي وإلى مواعيد جود مولاك هرعي وإذا تأخر مطلب فلربما في ذلك التأخير كل المطمع فاستانسي بالمنع وارعي حقه إن الرضا وصف المنيب الألمع وإذا بدا من ناطق الوجدان ما يدعوك للياس الذميم الأشنع فاستيقظي من نومة الغفلات وليكن الرجاء لك مرتعا فيه ارتعي إن العطاء إمداده متنوعون إن العطاء إمداده متنوعون يا حسنه ذاك العطاء المتنوع وردوا على نهر الحياة وكلهم شربوا وكم في الركب من متضلع حاشا الكريم يردهم عطشا وقاد وردوا وأصل الجود من ذا المنبع أصل الجود من ذا المنبع يا رب لي ظن جميل وافر قدمته وامشي به يسعى معي يا رب يا رب لي ظن جميل وافر قدمته أمشي به يسعى معي كل الذي يرجون فضلك كل الذي يرجون فضلك أمطروا حاشاك أن يبقى هشيما مربعي كل الذي يرجون فضلك أمطروا حاشاك أن يبقى هشيما مربعي